Thank you for purchasing the Mini Macrame Kit. Hopefully this will help you with some basic macrame knots that will expand your macrame making in the future. You will be receiving a macrame knot guide, a step-by-step instruction card, a spool of macrame cord, a measuring tape, and a 12-inch dowel. The only other things that you will need is a pair of scissors and some strong tape. Now let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is measure out your cord. You're going to need about 12 pieces measured at 32 inches, 8 pieces measured at 64 inches, and 1 piece measured at 48 inches. You can go ahead and pause the video now. I'll wait. Once you have your 64-inch pieces cut, all 8 of them, you want to fold them in half so that they're now 32 inches long. It's also probably best that you don't tape your dowel just yet until you get the lark's head knots on. To make the lark's head knot, take one of your folded 64-inch piece cord and lay the loop over the dowel. Bring the loop under the dowel and bring the ends through the loop and pull. You'll repeat this step 2 more times on the left side of the dowel, leaving about 2.5 inches of dowel on the left side. And you want to repeat this process for the right side, making 3 lark's head knots and leaving 2.5 inches of the dowel on the right. Now that you have 3 lark's head knots on the left and 3 lark's head knots on the right, leaving 2.5 inches of dowel on each side free, you want to take the last 2 of your 64-inch pieces that are 32 folded in half, and you want to place the 2 with the lark's head knot in the center of your dowel. Make sure when you're making the lark's head knot that the ends of the folded strand are even at the bottom. And now you can go ahead and tape your dowel. With your dowel rod now secured, you can begin making your double half hitch knots on the left and the right hand side. We're going to start with the left first. Take the 3 sections of folded strands. There should be 6 strands all together, and separate the very most center 2. We're going to start with the diamond pattern. The top of the diamond looks like an upside down V. So we want to cross the center 2 over the left and right 2 so that it begins to make the shape of the top of our diamond. Starting with the right side center, and the very next strand to the right, that's underneath, we're going to go over, pull it through, and pull it tight to the top. Repeat this step, which is what makes the double half hitch knot. Once you've done 2, move to the next strand after that, going over, through, and pull. One more time for the double half hitch knot. And that side is now complete. Set it aside. Taking your leftmost center strand, crossing it over the 2 next to it, and picking up the very next strand. Taking that one over, through, and pull. One more time, over, through, and pull. Take the next strand and repeat the steps. Over, through, and pull. One more time. Over, through, and pull. If at any point you need to pause the video or back up, feel free to do so. If you're familiar with this, you can fast forward as well. Now we're going to take the outermost left and right, and we're going to make the bottom part of our diamond pattern. Taking the furthest from the left on the outside and crossing it over the two next to it. Taking the very next strand, going over, through, and pull. And one more time, over, through, and pull. Take the strand next to that, over, through, and pull. And one more time, over, through, and pull. Now we have to make the bottom part of our diamond pattern on the right. We'll take the furthest most right strand, cross it over the two next to it, take the very next strand, going over, through, and pull. One more time, over, through, and pull. And the strand next to that, over, through, and pull. One more time for the double half hitch, over, through, and pull. And now we have created a diamond shape. To complete the diamond shape, take the two centermost strands and make another double half hitch knot. You could either go left over right or right over left, it doesn't matter, as long as each knot of the double half hitch knot is in the same direction. So I'll go left over right, taking the bottom right strand over the top left strand, over, through, and pull, over, through, and pull. And now we have our first diamond pattern of our double half hitch knot, which is going to create the main part of our mini macrame. We'll continue this pattern until we have about 5 diamonds, and we'll do the same on the right hand side. I'll make one more so you can watch, and then I'll speed up the video. Also refer to your macrame knot guide as well as the step-by-step instruction card. Starting with the center right, going over, through, and pull, and then the next strand, over, through, and pull. 2 times. Again on the left, taking the centermost strand, crossing it over the 2, taking your very next strand, bringing it up, over, through, and pull. Bringing it up, over, through, and pull. And remember, it's only done twice. Over, through, and pull. Over, through, and pull. Making sure we have 3 strands on the left and the right, we're going to complete the bottom part of our diamond. Take the outermost left, cross it over the 2 next to it, take the very next strand from underneath, come up over, through, and pull. Do that twice, and complete with the next strand. Take the furthest most right strand, cross it over the 2 next to it, take the very next strand, come up over, through, and pull. And the next one. One more time, up, over, through, and pull. To close off the diamond, again, you take the centermost strands, crossing left over right, going up, over, through, and pull. And now you have your 2 diamonds. I'm going to speed up the video just a little bit so we can move on to the next side. exact same thing. We're going to take the 6 strands, separate them so there's 3 on the left, 3 on the right. Take the center strands, cross them over the 2 next to them, making the top of our diamond pattern. Take the strand on the right, that's over top, and the very next strand to the right, taking it over, through, and pull. One more time to make the double half hitch, over, through, and pull. And then taking the next strand and doing the same thing, over, through, and pull. One more time, over, through, and pull. Keeping 3 strands on the right, taking the taking the left center strand and the strand next to it, go up, over, through, and pull. Then again up, over, through, and pull. Take the next strand, up, over, through, and pull. And then again over, through, and pull. Separate your strands. Now working from the outside in to make the bottom of our diamond pattern, take the left strand, cross it over the 2 next to it, take the very next strand, and go over, through, and pull in this direction. Right side, take the very far right strand, cross it over the strands next to it, take the very next strand, go over, through, and pull, and over, through, and pull. Next strand, over, through, and pull, and over, through, and pull. To complete it and to close it off, take the center 2 strands, crossing the left over the right, taking the right from underneath, going over, through, and pull, just as we did before. To make the double half hitch, do it one more time. And we have our first diamond pattern on our right hand side. So again, we're going to make 4 more of these so that we have 5 on the left and 5 on the right. Now that we have our 5 diamond patterns on our left and our right, we can start working in the middle. Now the only thing that we're going to do to the middle is we're going to make a square knot. You can refer to your macrame knotting guide, and I will also show you here. You will take your 4 strands, keeping the center 2 together and separating the left and the right. You could either work from your left and then right, or your right and then left. I'm going to work from the left to the right. So we'll take our left strand, keeping all 4 of them in your hand, cross the left strand over just the center 2 so that it makes a number 4. Then taking your right strand over the left strand, under the center 2, and pulling the right strand through the loop that you made on the left. Hold the center 2 strands straight and tight in your hand while you pull the left and the right strands, bringing the knot to about 2 inches from the top. And then you want to go in the opposite direction to complete the square knot. So now you'll take the right strand over the center 2, make the number 4, take your left strand, go over the right strand, under the center 2, pull it through, and tighten. And you tighten right underneath the top knot, making your square knot. The addition to it are the fringe pieces that you cut at 32 inches, folded in half at 16. At the top of your square knot, you have a left and a right hoop. We're going to take these pieces that are 16 inches folded, and we're going to go through the hoop with the top and we're going to make a lark's head knot, just like we did on the dowel, taking the ends through the hoop and pulling it tight. And this is going to make fringe. So we're going to continue that on the left and the right side of the square knot, taking the loop, going over and taking the ends, pulling them through, and continue on the left and the right, taking the top of the bent piece of cord through the hoop, over and down, take the ends through, and pull. There should be 6 lark's head knots on the right and 6 lark's head knots on the left. Center fringe, your left and right side with the diamonds, and now we're going to connect these two. And we're going to connect them making another square knot, bringing them in together, finding the centermost 4 strands. We're going to do the same square knot that we did before. We're going to take the center 2, hold them tight, cross the right strand over the center 2, the left strand over and under the right strand, and then through the loop that you made, holding the center strands and pulling left and right at the same time, and doing the same thing in the opposite direction. Take the left strand over the center 2, the right strand over the left, under the center, and through, holding the center strands and pulling left and right. And now you've just connected the 2 diamond patterns. You have your fringe. Now we need to add more fringe on these pieces. So to limit the amount of waste that we have, we're going to figure out where the shortest strand is in the center, and we're going to cut at a V the left and the right side. So again, finding where the center is, separating them out, finding the shortest strand, and cut at a V that mirrors the top connected part. Set those aside and do the same on the other side. Shape, and to prevent any waste, we'll pull out some of the longest pieces that we have from our cuttings, folding them in half, and using these as a guide with your remaining cord spool, we're going to make 2 for each loop that we see here on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, so we'll need 8 and 8, so we'll need 16 about this length. Grab our measuring tape, measure that out. It's about 16 inches. So we will make sure we have 8 16-inch pieces for our fringe. So go ahead and cut those out. Now that we have our fringe pieces cut, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did in the center. We're going to take the folded top part of our cord. We're going to go over and through the loops that we made on the left and the right, and we're going to pull the ends through. Repeat these steps on the left and the right side. To apply the 16-inch pieces that we cut for fringe by doing a lark's head knot through all the loops on the left side, taking the bent end of the 16-inch piece over and through the loops that you see on the left, and bringing the ends through and pulling it tight. Adjust your macrame so that the strands are laying flat and straight. And when you have it where you'd like it, remember that V pattern that we cut at the bottom? It should mirror the top V that we created with the double half hitch knots. So you find that V again, and you trim the fringe in the V shape. Trim it on the left and trim the sides on the right. The last step is to attach the hanging cord. The hanging cord was the 48-inch piece that we folded in half to make it 24 inches. Take the 48-inch piece, grab one end, make about a 4-inch loop, take that loop over the dowel so that your loop is under the dowel like we did for the lark's head knot, and then take the ends, the long end and the short end, and go through the loop, pulling the loose strand through and tightening. Just like we did for the lark's head knot, only you leave about a 4-inch piece instead of making the ends even. Then you'll take this shorter piece and you'll tie it around the longer piece to make a knot. Tie it again to make a double knot. And then you'll figure out how much you need for the hanging piece, which is typically about in the center of your wall hanging. So on the other side, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take the single strand we have by itself. We're going to take that over the dowel, and we're going to pull it through this big loop that has just been created. Then we're going to take the end of the single strand and we're going to go under the dowel and then over the dowel and then through this new loop that we created. Pull that tight. So now you can take this long strand you have by itself, tie it around in a knot to your hanging strand, and then tie it around again for a double knot. Tighten it and trim off any excess strands. It's ready to be hung on the wall. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. I hope you enjoyed your macrame kit. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to message me. I'd also love to see a picture of your work to see if the colors look different or if the instructions were helpful, or if you wanted to put your own twist on it, that's fine too. There's plenty of knots in the macrame knot guide that you can reference, and I also have video tutorials on my Instagram account. So thank you very much.